What's going on YouTube? Middle School Math Man here. This video is going to be on solving systems of equations with word problems. So, we're just going to look at a couple problems. We're going to get right into it. So, example 1 says the sum of two numbers is 30 and their difference is 12. Find the two numbers. Now, obviously we don't know those numbers yet. So we're going to have the sum of two numbers is 30. So we need to make two equations because there are systems of equations. So we know the sum means plus, so we're just going to use x and y. Those two numbers, we don't know the numbers, so we're going to put a variable to them. So x plus y equals 30, and their difference is 12. So just like that, we made our two equations. Now you can use either substitution or elimination. I guess you could graph them if you wanted to as well. Either method, any of the three, we should get the same answer. I'm going to use elimination here because the y's are already opposite signs, so I can easily eliminate those. So if I solve for x, I'm going to get x equals 21. So the first number is 21. And again, just like with the other systems we've been solving, once you get the first number, we're going to plug it back into either equation. So we're going to get y equals 9. So your two numbers, your answer is going to be 21, 9. Let's do one that's a little bit more challenging. If we look at number 4, first thing, let's set up our equations. The sum of two numbers is 36. So x plus y equals 36. Twice the first number minus the second is 6. So up here my first number was x, so twice of that is 2x minus the second. So minus the second number was y, and then that is 6. So again, you could use either method. I mean, you could easily manipulate the first equation to get x or y by itself, but those are already opposite, positive y and negative y, so those are going to cancel. So when you solve for x, you're going to get x equals, 14. Plug into either equation again, so 14 plus y equals 36. So we're going to get y equals 22. So not too bad. Let's look at some actual word problems with things we need to define. So if you notice at the top of the page, the first step was to define the variables. So if we look at number 8, we need to figure out what our variables are and we need to define them. So in this problem, obviously if you read it, we have oranges and apples. We're trying to figure out the costs of each. So I'm just going to say oranges is x and y is apples. You could have done x is apples and y is oranges as long as you are putting them with the right things in the equations. Alright, so I define them. Next step, set up the equations and solve. So we need two equations. So we have two different combinations of oranges and apples and they are equaling different prices. So the first sentence tells us 12 oranges, so 12x, because we said x was oranges, and 7 apples. The cost of those is $5.36. So 12x plus 7y equals 5.36. Then the second sentence says 8 oranges, so 8x, and 5 apples plus 5y equals $3.68. So those were our two equations. Now you can either solve this using substitution or elimination or graphing. I don't think one is really going to be easier than the other. I'm going to do elimination. You could do substitution if you wanted, or graphing. So I'm going to cancel the y's. So in order to do that, I'm going to multiply the top equation by 5, and I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by -7. The reason why I did that is because when I do that, the top equation, we're going to have 35y, and the bottom equation, we're going to have -35y. So those are going to be able to cancel for us. So we need to rewrite the equations. I'm going to rewrite them in green. So we have 60x plus 35y equals $5.36 times 5 is $26.80. Then my second equation, we're going to have negative 56x minus 35y equals $3.68 times -7 is -25.76. So there are two equations after I multiplied, so those are going to cancel. I'm going to have 4x equals, now if we do a little bit of math, $26.80 minus $25.76 is $1.04. So if we divide both sides by 4, we're going to get x equals 1.04 divided by 4 is 0.26. So the oranges cost 26 cents. Same way we've been doing it, we need to plug that 0.26 in for any equation for x. I'm going to do the second original equation because the numbers are a little bit smaller, so it might be easier to multiply. So 8 times 0.26 is going to be 2.08. And now we're just going to solve for y. So 5y equals 3.68 minus 2.08 is going to be 1.60. So my final answer should be 0.32. And again, what this means in the context of the problem is it means oranges cost 26 cents each and apples cost 32 cents each. Let's do one more problem together. So we're going to do number 16 here. A collection of dimes and nickels is worth $3.30. So right there it tells us the two variables that we're dealing with. We have dimes and we have nickels. So it tells us some collection, so some amounts, that's what we're trying to figure out. We don't know how many dimes and nickels, is worth $3.30. So you got to think to yourself, how much is a dime worth? Well, I'm sure everyone knows a dime is worth 10 cents. But when we write 10 cents, remember it's going to be 0.1 or 0.10. Not 1 or 10. We're not going to write 10 because that would mean $10. 10 cents is a tenth of a dollar, so 0.10 times x plus nickels 0.05y, and that was all equal to $3.30. The second sentence, or the first part of the second part, says, if there are 42 coins in all, how many of each kind are there? So that tells us that there's going to be some amount, we don't know how many of each, but there's going to be 42 coins in all. So x plus y, so dimes plus nickels, equals 42. So here are our two equations. I think, just looking at these, it's probably going to be easiest to use the substitution method. So I'm going to solve the bottom equation for, you could do x or y. I'm just going to solve for y, so I'm going to subtract x from both sides. So y is going to equal negative x plus 42. So now remember, I'm going to take that and plug it into y in the first equation and solve for x. I'm going to run out of room here, so I'm actually going to copy this down onto the next page. So 0.10x plus 0.05y, but we figured out y was negative x plus 42. And that's going to equal 3.30. Alright, so 0.10x, I'm not touching that, plus 0.05 times negative x is going to be negative 0.05x. And then 0.05 times 42 is going to equal positive 2.1. So if we're looking at DC VAM, we distributed, the next step is combine like terms, so we need to combine those x's. When we do that, that equals 0.05x, because 0.1 minus 0.05 is 0.05. And then I'm just going to solve for x. So we're going to get x equals 24. So in the context of this problem, that means that in this collection of 42 coins, there are going to be 24 dimes. So now I'm going to use the second equation, x plus y equals 42. And we just figured out x was 24, so if we plug in 24 for x, then we're just going to solve for y. So we're going to get y equals 18. So your final answer, we have 24 dimes and 18 nickels. So when we're solving word problems using system of equations, it's really not much more than what we have been doing. It's just setting up the equations that could potentially be tricky. But once you have the equations set up, you can use either method, elimination, substitution, or you could even use graphing if you wanted to solve for the missing variables.